welcome back to another episode here at Scriptcase by Jamie or on, whichever you prefer. But today we are checking out the latest and greatest of Scriptcase, of course, because that's what we're all about, right? And just a week ago, yes, I'm sorry, I've been very busy, but just a week ago, Scriptcase released the latest update, which is here, the 9.12 that you are seeing on the screen right now. And as it says, turn data into insights, build professional web applications with new analytical features, enhanced user experience, and reinforced security. Now, Scriptcase keeps coming out with new stuff. They keep upgrading the platform, or the development environment, should I say, adding new features, new capabilities, and of course, enhancing the overall experience of us developers as well as the users. Now, in this update, we have a load of new charts, which are kind of interesting, especially if you are into analyzing your data. So if I decrease the size of that a little bit, we can see it a little better. Okay, so here we have first of all the heat map. We have then also a tree map. We have then also a tree map, a Sankey map or chart, a sunburst chart, a chord graph / chart, and Gantt. Now, you have been able to create Gantt charts in Scriptcase for a very long time, but they were a little more complicated to create. And now we just need to click a button, just like everything else in Scriptcase. You just click a button, and just like that, or a checkbox, should I say, or button or checkbox, and then you have applied it, whatever it is you want to have applied, whether that be a heat map, a tree map, a Gantt chart, or any other chart that is currently already available. And with these new analytical charts, we have, of course, a whole new visual emphasis on our data. We can actually see visually what is happening within our business, our company, our enterprise, wherever it is that you have your systems deployed. Now, of course, with these new charts, you'll be able to visualize that data much more clearly, especially here, the heat map and tree map. These are pretty special. And of course, the Sankey, you'll really be able to see where your data is being transferred to, or where your people are moving to, or whatever it is. You can track the flow of whatever it is you are wanting to track. And the sunburst also gives you something similar to that, where all of the main data would be in the middle, or the large percentage would be in the middle, and the rest of it would be on the outlying circular fashion of the sunburst, because that's what it does, it bursts. And the outer lines, well, there you would have the minimum rates, but it kind of gives you more of a visual way of actually viewing these. Now, I should mention that here, the tree map as well as the sunburst, they do also have the click zoom in, zoom out feature, so you can actually view the data a little more clearly, and we will have a quick look at those as we continue on with this video. But anyway, let's have a look here at some of the advanced customization features that have been included. And there we have some new theme blocks, which is specifically for our charts. And with that, you'll be able to customize your charts a little more. You also have the option now of gradient colors, and the option to customize, or not customize, but apply a scroll bar for the charts, which was previously not available. So in some charts, if you had lots of data, it would be overflowing basically with information, and you would not be able to view everything. Well, now you can, because now there is the option of adding a scroll bar in there, and then you can actually visualize all of your data in one go, which is pretty beautiful. We have some new options on the interface as well for, of course, the new charts, the new features, the new capabilities, and some improvements for the grid application. Now, as I mentioned previously, we could create a Gantt chart quite easily, and that was done with the grid application, and that is now basically just a click box away, but we will have a look at that shortly. Now we have here also your new mega menu, and with that you can, well, provide a much cleaner navigation experience for your end users, allowing you to really segment your menu options into maybe a cleaner more accessible fashion. Anyway, those are now available within Scriptcase, as well as new authentication methods for Google. And I should note that all of these new authentication, social media authentication methods, well, these are currently only available within the form. So if you generate security using the control, i.e. the custom HTML login page, well, then these options are not yet available, but I believe they will be coming soon. Now we have then also updated font awesome icons. So there should be a whole load of new icons available for you to choose within your new menu. Now for the calendar, we also have a nice upgrade, which provides us now the grid and stack as well as year views. And we can also remove the categories, which we previously could not. So with this, we have some extra new views within the calendar interface, and we can actually customize this a little more so that it looks so much better on those dashboards that we have. Now, we also have some new connection settings for Firebird. So if you use Firebird as your database, then you will have this upgraded to the latest and greatest version with all of those features that you have been missing, and you can apply those now. We also have a whole new macro, which is then the SC event hint. Of course, make sure you check out Macro Day every Friday right here on Scriptcase by Jamie, and then we will be covering this macro at some point again in the future for sure, but I'll check it out in today's video. Now, it is important that it says here define the hint for the field, SC event hint. Now over here, it says for links in queries with Ajax on click event. So that is very important to note. So generally, you would only have this new hint option on links, which I think is actually a bit of a shame, because I like to add hints on even options that are not links, but that's what it is. So at least we have it there now, and we can apply that to our links within our grid applications. And as I mentioned, we have further options for Google authentication. You can sign in with Google now quite easily and nicely, as well as add an SSH. So that is SSH for a secure shell protocol. And that basically allows us then to securely connect over an unsecured network and connect to then the server. And this is quite a nice feature to have added. Now, I should note that with any such connection, you will feel a bit of a decrease in speed. A little drop will happen there because, of course, you will be connecting to another machine, securing, verifying, and so forth. And that will then cause a bit of a drop, just the same as when you use a VPN, for instance. Now, we have then also reCAPTCHA that has been updated to the latest version 3, and we can add that into our applications or security applications, as well as the forms and control form, I believe. And there you can then go ahead and add a reCAPTCHA. Now, this new reCAPTCHA version 3 does not require any user input. It is actually automated. So it checks the user browser history and see whether it's a real user or not. And then it's just automated like that. So you don't have to really pick any silly photos, enter any words or characters that you can't really read. Now, with that, we then also have the new LDAP module. And with that, it has provided enhanced functionality for Active Directory and using now the LDAP record. So with that, you can authenticate and manage your LDAP groups much more efficiently. Now, with that, there are also 20 days of free support for any new Scriptcase 9.12 feature. So if you have any issues with any of these features, you will receive free support for them. Now, I should note that you have also the support option here. You can just go ahead and ask, and you see here there is the free support for Scriptcase 9.12, and you can just click that and you will receive some specific helpful support just on this latest version. Okay, so with that, let's dive into Scriptcase then. And well, first of all, let's check out here the details within the Scriptcase update, because we have here the latest feature. And we have added the mega menu feature in the responsive menu application. There is also an added year mode for the calendar application, as well as other modes there, which we will check out. The LDAP updates, Google authentication, the SSH, the new charts, the scrolling support. See, all of those are listed here, as well as then an updated Fusion Charts library. Now, to tell you a little secret there, Fusion Charts is available within Scriptcase. All of those libraries that you have available that Scriptcase uses within its own development environment. Now, you may not have known, but you can use this. You can import this library into a blank application and create beautiful charts. Maybe one day I'll create a little video for that for you. Now, with that, of course, we've had an update since then as well, resolving some extra little features, bits and pieces. Like here's a fixed problem with the reCAPTCHA in HTML on the control form. So that is then the HTML template I was talking about previously, where then Google does not, or the social media logins do not fully work yet, but well, they're just not available, and they will then be added. Now, of course, with that, if you have any problems, do be sure to notify Scriptcase here with the chat, and well, we will see then the update here within the update or change log page. And then with that, you'll be updated on what's going on. Now, generally, if you watch many of my videos, you will maybe know that when such a big update comes out straight away, maybe not to upgrade straight away and leave it to people like me and others that are then reporting the issues. Especially when you are starting a new project. Maybe you would want to hold off with the 9.12 and then jump onto the 9.12.001 or the 002 maybe even, just to feel a little better. Now, in the majority of cases, you should be able to upgrade without any problems and everything will be fine. Only in the minor cases will somebody have a little issue. Now, if I come here into my Scriptcase development environment, I will open up here the samples 2, which, yes, the samples project has been upgraded, or should I say updated, with the latest version 9. And there we have the version 9.12 here at the bottom. And there we have an example of all of those applications. Now, I'm just going to come here to root, and we can just start up here the default menu. And with that, we can check out some of these new features that we have available here within Scriptcase. Okay, so with the samples menu open, now I should note as well, you can run it directly there from the Run Project button. You don't have to run the menu itself, just click the Run Project button and it will start the project. And that is typically how you do it once you have created a project and defined the starting page, or maybe just the page that you want to open. Okay, so with that, we have up here the new Scriptcase 9.12. And if I click that, it opens up a whole new menu, because we have here then also the mega menu included. Now, I should note that this, you have to add the 4 containers in here, the 4 elements. Otherwise, it does look a little messy. I'm going to say that out loud, because it doesn't then complete everything or minimize the size of it. So it remains like this full width the whole time. But we're going to have a quick look at that anyway and discuss it a little bit. So we have then here the heat map, which is really cool. So we can actually see here the heat differences or variations of our data. And we have this nice scroll bar here that we can then also scroll over and visualize the data as we need to, which is a really nice feature. We then also have the tree map, which is really cool. So here you can actually see, for instance, in this case, we have here, I guess I was meant to say world and not word, but yes, we have here a world map of each of the continents. So for instance, we have Europe here, and then we can click down into each of these European countries. For instance, we can choose Sweden, France, or Europe, or whatever else. And if there is remaining data behind that, then we would be able to further click down into that, which is really cool. And if I just click here on the word again, which, yeah, should be world really, and then we can come back here to all of the continents that we have here. And again, we can visualize that per country basically within the continent, which is really cool. Very nice feature, I think. Now we have then here also the Sankey diagram. Now I am absolutely a big fan of this one. I do very much love the look of this, and the data it can provide you, well, that is phenomenal, because you can really make out what is going where and who is receiving what, which quantities, quite nicely with this sort of flow chart. So for instance, we have here Portugal. So if I click over the main Portugal element, we'll have all of those flows, and we can see that we have something being passed to Africa, the Americas, Asia, as well as Europe, and we can then visualize and also the amount of whatever it is we're transferring to that location, which is a very nice feature. Okay, so then we also have the sunburst. Now I do like this also because it does also give us a click in or zoom in, zoom out functionality. As we see, we can really drill down into our data and see what's going on there, which is very, very nice. Now to get back, we click on the center piece here, and the center will take us back to our main chart, which is pretty cool, right? Well, I like it anyway, so I hope you do too. I think that is definitely a very nice chart to have added here, as well as the others. Now we have one extra chart here, and that is the chord diagram. Now isn't this one sexy? Well, yes, and it does pretty much the same thing as the Sankey diagram, just of course with a very different visual aspect as we see here, but it still allows us to visualize the flow of our data, of our products, of people even, or whatever it is you are sending from location to location. And I think that is pretty powerful. Now, for the Gantt chart, which we now have as well built into the grid application, you can just check a box and then the Gantt chart will pretty much be available. Now, there is a little extra trick there, and I will show you that also. But for now, this is the Gantt chart. This is what it looks like. You can customize the look of this other than the bars at the moment, which I do hope that comes, because of course, grey and red, yeah, that's not really the colours that mix with my platform, and definitely not what my clients want. My client wants green and blue. So I really hope that we can actually customize those colours very soon. Okay, so then we have the mega menu, as we pointed out, and this then allows us then to display our menu items in a much cleaner way. So that is quite nice. Now, finally, we have then the start mode year for the calendar. And I'll say this probably isn't the nicest view, but it is pretty awesome because you have the whole year now in one calendar view. But let's dig deeper, shall we? And let's have a quick look at these applications really. So if I come here, I'm going to then go ahead and create a whole new menu. So we start with the menu application. And then we can check out here, first of all, the mega menu and give some feedback on that one maybe also. And of course, if you have anything to share, if there's anything that you do not like or want or whatever it is, let me know in the comments. Let me know that you hate this new mega menu, that you love it, whatever it may be. Just, well, yeah, say something, let me know. And of course, here we then have our new menu. And as you see already here, we have that grayed out here defined as mega menu. So I'm going to add some items in here and say, I'll call this one here customers. And this one here, then we can say users. And then let's here say products. And then here, let's say sales. And here we have then say charts. And then here we then have maybe our security and whatever else they have. So I'm going to get rid of that last one. And then for customers here, maybe we'll add here, add customer. Okay, and then here we will then customer list maybe. And then here we can say active customers, maybe, whatever it is, however you have those defined. So I'm going to select those three menu items that I have just added, shift them over to the right hand side just by clicking that little button there, and then I can choose here the customers field and check here the define as mega menu. Now the add customer, customer list and active customer, they have now become columns. Now that may not really make sense in the typical layout that I have, so what I'll do is I'll leave that one as a typical menu item, and then we have sales here. So then here well, users, and then here I'm going to say accounts. And let's say then also user access. And then we can also say here user products. Okay, so we're just coming up with any random things here and placing them within our menu. And then we're going to have here two basic menu items. I will add one blank one up here, one straight one, and here I'm just going to say add item, and then I can add here an icon. And while we add that, let's see the new icons, because if I just enter plus here, we already have double the amount of icons that we had previously. So I can choose here then the plus icon. That is then updated here for my add item. For my customers, let me choose here the user icon maybe. Of course, my fat fingers, user, and let's go with that one. And then we can add further icons. And of course, we have loads more icons now, and you can see that here. So if I go user, we have a few extras here for the user and for many other items as well. So of course, we could scroll through that entire list here, and you may notice that there are a load of new icons in there, which will, well, make it a little nicer for choosing your icons for your menu and so forth. Now, I do hope these fun, awesome icons do soon come to our forms and control applications, because, you know, maybe I don't want to choose an image. Maybe I just want to use a font awesome icon, and that would be pretty awesome. So guys, please, it's about time, no? Font awesome icons in forms and control applications also, please. Don't you think so? I think so. Why don't you let me know down in the comments what you think watching this video right now. Shall we have font awesome icons within the applications, grids, forms? Absolutely. Absolutely. They should be there as a default selection for even the header, for the footer, so we can place those icons in there and so forth. Now, let's continue here with the mega menu, because we haven't finished here. We have here our products, and I'm going to add a couple extra options in here. So here I'll say sales, and I actually just click the save button there. So I'll call this one sales, and then this one here I'll say in stock, okay, and then this one out of stock. Okay, and then here I'll place these three over to the right again, so they end up inside of products. And this time I will choose here the mega menu, and then for sales I'm going to add a few extra items in here. Now notice when I add a new item now, they are automatically set as column. Now if I adjust them and move them into the right, so inside of sales basically, then they will become sale items. So let me add a couple more here too, and I'll add 2 more items in here and 2 more here for the out of stock as well. Shift them all over, and that way they are not indicated as a column. And notice that the column, there's no description, no link, just like the main product set here as mega menu. So only on the actual item or menu links are we able to add the link, add a description, change the label. We can add icons to all of them, which is very nice. Now, if I go ahead and run this now, we will then check out this new menu that we've just pretty quickly thrown together. And we have then here, first of all, our customers and our users. Those are the default drop-down menus. And then we have here our products. So we have here sales, in stock, out of stock. Now, all I want is these 3 items, yet for some reason, I have a big space over here. Now guys, over at NetMake, I would love to be able to put something else in that space. An image, an icon, a fun awesome icon, some text to describe what is happening here, to give some details. That is the essence of a mega menu, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm afraid I still feel that that is actually missing from here, which is a bit of a shame. Now I do hope something like that comes here for the menu. Now I will tell you that the menu is not finished. As you can probably see, the mega menu has just been added months after the actual menu being launched, right? So yeah, there are obvious reasons for that one. We all wanted this menu very quickly, and we got it. Now it's being upgraded, and now the new features and so forth will be coming to this. Now I do hope some of these elements will be a little better later, because I really hate this big empty space here, and it is pretty ugly. Now if we change this menu now over to maybe vertical from horizontal, we can check it out and see what it actually looks like the other direction. So we have then here our customers, which then clips down beautifully. Now that looks really sexy if you ask me. But then when I come here to the mega menu, yeah, I'm not so sure on that one. And again, we still have our big space over here. Now, it definitely does add the functionality, and it allows us to clean up our menu a little more, provide more options. And I'm pretty sure the majority of cases, you will more than likely fill up all 4 of these containers, let's say. Now, I do hope we get to reduce that later and there's just 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever we need. So we'll see. Anyway, for now, that is what it is. That is the new mega menu. It is pretty mega, and I hope as we continue, it will be more mega as we go on. Notice the notice that I emphasized there the mega, mega, mega. We want mega menu. And so far, yeah, we're missing the ga. Okay, so let's carry on. That is the mega menu. I hope you like that one. And of course, there are the font awesome icons which are there, which are pretty awesome. Okay, so if I come then to new application, and this time I will create a grid application. And if I just say I'll choose here my company. In fact, no, that's a bit of a small one. So let's go here with employees. And that will do, so I'll go create. Now with that, we have then our employees grid. Now this grid, I'll tell you right now, I have chosen the wrong database table to create a Gantt chart, okay? Because this specific table will be missing the required fields. So here, we have no progress, we have no percentage, we have no start date, we have no end date. And for a Gantt chart, that is pretty much what you are requiring. You are needing those special fields. So let's come back to our grid application again, and this time maybe choose a more suitable table for this. So here, if I go project, let's have a look. We have start date, end date, percent complete. So that's perfect, look. So with that, we can already create here our Gantt chart. So with that, if I then come here into my grid application, we have here there, first of all, the Gantt options. So I will set here a title and I'll say my new awesome Gantt chart. Okay, and of course fat fingers as per usual, and with that here we can choose the theme for this chart, and I should note that there are new themes for the Gantt chart. So I have one saved here already. I will choose that, and then we can choose the chart position, center, left, right. We can choose the output, as well as then other options here for the label, the width, the amount of months that are available. We need to indicate our start date and end date, and we also need to indicate the percent complete. Now the resource, that would essentially be here the project name. So we could place that in there, and then if we go ahead and run, there is no Gantt chart yet, ladies and gentlemen. I'll indicate that one straight away because I've just set it up basically, okay? So we still have one step to go. So right now you'll see it's still the default chart, and that is because we are missing the Gantt chart button within our toolbar. So if I come here then to the toolbars, and then here within the toolbar, we have the Gantt chart. So I can select that. And if I go ahead and run the grid application again, we will then have here the Gantt button. Or am I missing something? I'm missing something again, it seems. So let me come back up here. Let's save that. Make sure that is in there. We have the Gantt chart there available. Okay, and it's still actually missing. See, we might be still be missing some details there. So if I come back here to the Gantt chart again, the field label, there we go. We did not have the field label applied. Now if I go run again, we now have our Gantt button. So just by having one single field here not selected, even though it's not indicated here by the new and it's highlighting it saying yes it's required, which would maybe be a good idea, guys, that you maybe indicate that these 3-4 fields are mandatory for the Gantt chart to be generated. So that is very important to note, ladies and gentlemen. So with that, then you have then the Gantt chart button available, and you can then view your data within a lovely little Gantt chart. And as I mentioned, you can change the themes for that. So if I come up here to layout, and there we have chart themes, we can then customize here our theme. So I'll just go new, and I'll say, well, it's for the project. I'll call it gray. And we have then here the default themes that we can select and choose one of these. So here I'll say the grayscale. I'll go create. Okay, so the theme has now been created. And then let's see if I can find it here. So we have that down here in project and then gray. So I can view that now. And there we have then our custom chart or custom theme for our chart. Now I can click on edit, and then with that, if I scroll down here, we have new gradient options, which are super sexy. And we have the scroll bar option here too. Do note that one, the 2D scroll bar. You can set the color there also, and then Gantt features options here that we can then customize the Gantt chart further. Now, do check that out, and that is now fully available within Scriptcase, allowing us to theme our charts a little nicer. So definitely with those gradient colors, they are definitely going to be much sexier. And of course we have those new charts. So let's check some of those out. Let's come here then to new application, and we just come here to chart. And again, if I say here, I'll go to sales, that will do. And we'll create a sales chart. And then with this sales chart, well, we can add here maybe some dimensions. So let's say year and month. We have then product. Let's go product. Let's go quantity sold in the metrics, and then maybe profit. Okay, so with that, we can go ahead and run here our default chart that we have, and then we can just quickly check that out. So there is our default chart with those options that I've just selected as it is. Now, with that, we have a load of options here within the chart. We can change here the chart type to any chart type that we want. We have here all of the new options, the heat map, the tree map, the chord diagram, the Sankey, as well as the sunburst. So I choose the sunburst. Let's go ahead and run that and see what that then looks like. And then we will then have our sunburst. Now, as it says here, we're still missing a metric, and that will be the case in some of these, that you will need to have extra values or extra metrics available for that data to be displayed. So let's come here then and try the heat map. Let's check that one out. If I go ahead and run that, let's see if that requires any extra metrics. And there we have, must have 2 dimensions and 1 metric. So we can very, very quickly change that. We have 1 dimension and 2 metrics. So if I run that now, 2 dimensions, 1 metric there. There you go. Make sure we get it the right way around, right? So there we have our 2 dimensions and single metric. And now we should have here our heat map. Well, look at that. Isn't that pretty awesome? And you can really see here what's been happening with that. So you can see there's 0, very few sales. And then these yellow ones, there we have lots of sales. And on this green one, there we have even more sales, which is pretty powerful. So just like that, we can actually have a little visualization of what's been going on with our sales, which is pretty cool. Now, okay, so let's check out then another one of these. So let's come back here to the tree map. Let's save that and run. Let's see what then the tree map requests. If it's the, yeah, so we have 2 dimensions and 2 metrics for that. So let's come here and we can then add quantity sold profit, run, and now we should have 2 dimensions, 2 metrics, and our chart. And just like that, we have our new chart, which is pretty awesome. So do pay attention to those requirements. They are indicated there if you need them. And I really hope these new charts, wow, I hope you like them as much as I do. Okay, so with that, we had some extra features added to security. I'm not going to really go through those because for that, we need to generate the security. And as some of you know, that does take a little time, doesn't it? But we do have new LDAP options here. So if I say use LDAP, let's go that way. I'll say there's my connection, go next. And now we have here within LDAP, we can set our server, the port, the suffix and everything. And just as all of the other options, these options are available in the back end once you generate it, which is pretty powerful, right? So we have here also the new CAPTCHA, and there we can then define reCAPTCHA version 3. We need to add our secret key and our site key. Now you can just add A's in here or whatever you want for the time being, and then configure that within the back end of your environment. Now, there was one thing I actually wanted to show you still. So that is security. Is pretty much all I'm going to show you on security. I'm afraid if you're using Firebird or others, then I'm sure you will see those new options there and you can check those out. Now, the other thing that I wanted to actually check here was the new calendar because, yeah, we all use calendar, right? So let's create a whole new table. I'll create a new table for that. And I'll say calendar number 2. because we seem to have a calendar table already. And when you generate a calendar, just to point out, all of your fields will be automatically selected here for the edit fields. If not, then maybe there's an issue. Now here for the edit calendar fields, you can define these also and adjust them as you need. You can set the theme just like any other application too. So if I go ahead and create that new application, our new calendar, then here we'll see straight away we have the time format and start mode available modes. So start mode available modes are new, or should I say only the grid, stack and year are new. So I will remove the others there and we will check out just these 3 new calendar options. Now you do have plenty of other options there as well, which we'll check out one of those in a moment. Now for now we have the start mode, so we can set that as grid, stack, year, agenda or whatever we like. With those new available modes, those are also available in the start mode. So if I go year and start run this calendar application, we can see then the new year mode that we have, and we see that year just continues and continues and continues. The calendar goes on and on and on, which is really nice, right? Okay, so then we also have the grid functionality, which splits those months up for us and provides us again another beautiful view of the calendar application. And then we have stack, which is then 1 month, again, neat and tidy, one below the other, which again is also very, very nice and fully functional, especially within those dashboards, which, well, let's have a quick look at that, shall we? So if I come here and create myself a new dashboard application, and if I create that, then we can then come here and import this new calendar. So if I come here and I'm going to go calendar, and we have number 2, so that's this one here, calendar 2. And if I go ahead and run that now, we then have our calendar within our dashboard. Now, as many of you know, the dashboard can be adjusted. Let's quickly, very quickly, just make a quick change there. Just a little sexier at least. And then we have the widget there. So we want to get rid of that as well. So I'll come here to the properties, remove the move, maximize, display widget header, collapsible and removable, leaving the remove border, checking the remove application margin and leaving the compact mode. So if I save that, then the calendar will be snug, nice and tight within its container. Lovely, look at that. Okay, so with that, we can make one awesome change now to our calendar application, and we have here the fields. Now you may not know that the description field by default is never selected, so you can indicate that there or add any other field that you want as a description. You just need to add it there, bang bang, and it's done. Now the description will also be displayed within the calendar. Now it's important to note that we can also now remove the categories, for instance. So if I save that and run the calendar again, the category now will be gone. Look at that. And then we have a full-blown calendar for our dashboard without the categories, making it look a little, tiny. Okay, so with that, we have some awesome new features within the Scriptcase development environment. I hope you do like these. I definitely do. I'm very excited with some of them, and I do hope some of them are actually improved a little more, such as the mega menu, right? Let's really have a mega menu, guys, and that will be pretty awesome. Anyway, with that, I think that will be all for today. And just before I finished, well, there will be a little advertisement here from the new promotion, because yes, there's promotion. That's what I've been busy doing the last couple of months, I'm afraid, creating new promotion content, upgrading the membership, and much more. So there is much to come at Scriptcase by Jamie this year. I hope you are sitting tight and waiting, because it's pretty much live already. So while I'm on the topic, yes, promotion, check it out. Welcome to Scriptcase by Jamie, where we turn complex coding into practical skills even you can master. Join our exclusive membership today. Our membership includes access to in-depth tutorials, pre-prepared scripts, an advanced knowledge base, as well as so many tips, all designed to elevate your Scriptcase skills. Dive into our new user-friendly portal, connect and share, learn with a community of developers that are all passionate about Scriptcase. Stay ahead of the curve with our new channel. Get exclusive content, expert created projects, and help when you need it. Join a thriving community of developers. Benefit from networking opportunities, community support, as well as exclusive member events. Are you ready to transform your Scriptcase skills? Join Scriptcase by Jamie today, visit our website, and become part of something a little bigger. And I will see you in the next video. I hope you have an awesome day, great week, great weekend, whenever it is you are watching this video. I hope you're having an awesome one. And of course, take care of yourself. And thanks very much for watching. If you have anything to say about these new features, these new options that we have within Scriptcase, please go ahead and comment down below. I'll be happy to pass it on for you all. And at the same time, I have a funny feeling those guys from NetMake over there, they're actually watching these videos. So maybe they'll pick up on what you're actually writing in the comments. So go ahead, let me know how you feel about these latest updates within Scriptcase. If there is anything that you are still missing, that you are wanting, any improvements, whatever it is, let me know how you are using the new mega menu within your applications. If you're using the new Firebird security options or LDAP, whatever it may be, let me know down in the comments. I'm very happy to hear from you. And of course, until the next video, catch you all next time.